Well, yesterday I got a good start on this sheet metal replacement in the trunk floor and the rear floorboards, and basically I'm at a point where I'm just cutting out some of the obviously rusted metal and deciding where I'm going to cut the metal out and cut the new metal and put it in there. Fortunately, the front floorboards and all the body braces are real solid. So are the rocker panels and everything like that. The rust that this car got it from having a leaky trunk seal and sitting out in that field in the water, getting in like that floorboard and sitting and rusting. Same thing with behind this, below the back seat. The driver's side floorboard, rear one, is solid. Won't have to replace that. Like I said, I've made some cuts to see how this thing goes together. I'm making decisions on where I want to cut it and weld it together. I took some stiff masking tape and laid it along some of the seams that were in this floorboard and painted along them to give me an idea of where I want to make some initial cuts. And I'll replace the metal inside those painted lines first, and then after that I will go and replace some of this metal on the outside of it. But I took that tape and I made my bends and taped them together where they stayed that way, and after I took the tape like that, that's stiff, I took and laid it on my replacement metal along the same seams. And then painted where I need to cut this. I actually laid the tape about a 1/2 inch outside of where I had it on the car, so that way I have a little extra metal to work with. And like I said, initially I'm going to replace along those lines, and then after that I've got to replace this corner over here. I've kind of got to do it in sections because I would not be able to squeeze that whole piece in from one end to the other in there. Also, if I cut out all the body braces on this car, would the 2 quarter panels just fall down? So I'm kind of leaving it together and replacing it in sections. It's kind of crazy. The smart way to do it would be just to buy replacement metal and take the body off of the frame and go to the factory seams, but I don't really even have time to do this stuff, and a lot of my metal is real solid and I'm not going to replace it. I'm just going to cut this metal and weld it together end to end and grind both sides of the metal, and you won't even be able to tell what I've done. And this whole rear brace back here will be replaced with the car. I'm putting that in. And like I said, I've still got to work out how I'm going to cut all this. I'll do the same thing, put some tape on it and paint my lines, and then transfer that tape over to the other part and do it. Before I put this trunk floor in, I'm going to replace this metal where the seal goes, because it'll be kind of handy to be able to stand up in here and weld from underneath here. Here's my metal that I got out of the '62 Chevy in the wrecking yard. It's got a little surface rust, but it's real solid. I'll unspot weld that and spot weld it back in here. This top metal up here is real solid all the way down on my car, so I can just drill out those spot welds and put that back together like the factory. A lot of scratching my head here and figuring out how best I want to do this, and by cutting out the obviously rusted metal, it gives me an idea of where I want to cut the rest of it. That's where I'm at today.